Hello. We have already learned that there are different types of modeling in computer graphics. And as we already know, the main ones are NURBS and polygon, and we use the second type. Graphics created by polygonal modeling are divided into two types: low poly and high poly. In short, low poly is a polygonal network in 3D computer graphics that has a relatively small number of polygons. The term low poly is used both technically and descriptively. The number of polygons in the network is an important factor in optimizing performance, but can affect the final shape of the graph. Models that are said to be low poly often look blocky and simple, while retaining the basic shape of what they are designed to represent. Low-priced graphics are often used by developers, because they are faster and cheaper to create. Of course, it is worth noting that some artists use the resulting low detail from a small number of polygons as aesthetics rather than as an optimization technique. In fact, there is no defined threshold when the model is low poly. This is a relative concept which, among other factors, depends on the time of network design and for what hardware, the detail needed in the end network, the shape and properties of the object in question. Let me show you. What you see on both sides is the same pattern. The difference between the two, however, is that one is low poly and the other is high poly. The aim of low poly modeling is to keep the model as clean as possible and to have as few polygons as possible. Low poly models are used in computer games. In high poly modeling, the value of polygons is much higher, so much more detail can be added. Its purpose is to be used in the film industry, in architecture, in studio visualizations, etc. Let's open the 3ds Max program to demonstrate how to do low poly modeling and high poly modeling. We will use the Create menu again, but this time we will create a sphere. We maximize perspective view and create a simple sphere. If you want to remove these lines, you can do so with Shift+J, for version 2021, and if the version is older you can remove the lines by pressing J. To display the polygons themselves, press the F4 button. In this case we can click the Modify panel. Here we can see that the segments are 32. As the number increases, the segments will become more and the sphere itself will be much smoother. If we reduce the segments to 10, the sphere will become more edgier. In this case, we will increase the number of segments to 15. I copied the sphere and adjusted the number of segments to 100. As we learned in the previous lesson, we will have to make the sphere unique so that it is not affected by the changes we make. You can see the difference between the two spheres. In case you create a scene and the object itself is much further away, the difference is almost invisible. Which means that you do not need to aggravate the scene. When the subject is closer to the camera, it is a good option to have more polygons, so that the edges are less pronounced. This is the most important thing you need to know about low poly and high poly modeling. And now, let's learn how to create objects.